In this video, I want to talk about some of the new features that we've added to forums and As You Learn. So now you have due dates in forums, so those will appear in the calendar as deadlines for students to meet. We also have the ability to enter cutoff dates, and cutoff dates essentially lock down the forum saying after this date, no new posts are allowed by students. There's also an option for whole grading. If you enable that, then you have the ability to see all of one student's posts within a forum all on one page. And teachers also have the ability now to do private replies to students that their classmates would not see. Let me show you how these features work. In this example, I have several forums and students have already made posts to these. So in this first one, if I click here, this is just a standard forum. And if I click on a student's discussion, I have the ability to click reply, and then down here as the teacher I can choose reply privately, so only the student would see what I write there. So now let's talk about some of the grading features. If you go under the gear to settings, you now have the ability under availability to enable a due date and a cutoff date. So the due date would be when you expect posts to be made by. And the cutoff date is more of a lockdown. After this date, no posts are allowed to be added. Whatever you put as the due date, that is what appears in the calendar for students as their due date, when they need to act by. There's also an option if you go under whole forum grading. By default, it is none, and you can choose point or scale. When you do that, then you have the ability to grade within the forum, and that gets recorded to the grade book. We still have the ratings option, but really this whole forum grading is a big plus. Under whole forum grading, you'll also notice under grading method you can use simple direct, and if you just want to enter numbers, that's a great idea. You also have the ability to use grading guides and rubrics, and I'm going to show you an example of where I've used a grading guide within a course. One reason to bump up from simple direct is if you choose one of these options, you have the ability to add comments in addition to scores. In this example, I have a standard forum displayed in blog-like format. When I click here as the teacher, I did two things. One, I enabled whole forum grading, but I also added a very simple grading guide, which broke out 70 points for the original post and also 30 points for the reply, for a total of 100 points for this forum. So I want to start grading my students. Click Grade Users. One thing that can throw you off, it immediately shows me as the teacher, and I'm not going to grade myself. So you need to navigate through the names until you hit the students. So here's a particular student. I can see Homer's initial reply, or I'm sorry, his original post, and also his reply. With reply, sometimes you need context for that. If you do, click View Parent Post, and then it's going to show you what message the student is replying to. Now, because I've added a grading guide, here I could say, out of 70 points, I want to give you 55. And then here, I would have the ability to add comments. And this is for the forum reply. So scrolling down, reading through that, and how many points do I want to give you there? And as you enter grades and comments, these things are stored to the grade book, and only the student would see these. You also have the ability to send notifications to students as you grade if you want to do that. I hope this helps.